My many loves. How are you on this second day of May? I can't believe it's freaking May already. What the hell happened there? My youngest's birthday is tomorrow. They will be 16, which makes me an old lady, but I'm okay with being an old lady. I have started to love that I'm getting older. I love that I'm thicker. Like, I can fully say that I'm fat with complete confidence now. It's I don't know. I'm really like feeling more comfortable with me lately, and I love it. I don't know if it was the gray hair thing and just like loving that and embracing that, but I kind of like me. I like 42-year-old Mandee way better than I like 22-year-old Mandee, and that's for sure. So let's see. Oh, happy masturbation month. It's May. It's masturbation month. So we will make sure to talk about that on each show this month. Maybe I know the next show is going to be about when your kids don't like your partners. We're going to talk about that. But maybe later in the month, we can do a whole show about masturbation, about mutual masturbation, and about loving yourself physically and like, getting down and dirty with yourself, because there's nobody better to get down and dirty with. I promise you. I have a lot of amazing partners, a lot of amazing physical partners. I kind of like fucking me. So there's that. And today we have an incredible, oh, Robin, you're so sweet. I like my gray hair too. Look, and I can't fix this Robin shit. Like, it's not Robin shit. I love Robin. Don't get me wrong. I'm just not Robin. So, um, oh, we have an incredible guest today. I listened to the show last week and I realized I really didn't tell y'all shit. I didn't give you any kind of tips on opening up. We just bullshit. Bullshit. That's the past tense of bullshit. We just bullshit for an hour, and don't get me wrong, I loved it. But if you were here to find out how to open up your monogamous relationship, I failed you. I failed you at that for sure. So I thought, okay, well, I mentioned Beck in the last show. I might as well bring her on because she is amazing. She is an incredible relationship coach, and her name that she goes by in the professional realm is Beck Duffield. She's got a lot of letters behind her name, and I'm going to let her explain what they all are, but it's JD, BCC. She's has all those certifications, right? She's not just somebody out here telling you that she can make your relationship better. She's certified. She's certified in it, y'all. And not some like, let me buy the certification kind of shit. She's got the training. I don't know what the letters mean, but I do know that she has a legal background. She has a negotiations background. She has a mediation background. Y'all, that's who you want helping you with your relationship. She has helped me with my relationships previously. She's amazing. We're going to go ahead and bring her on.
Hi.
Welcome to the show, Beck.
Hey there. How's it going, Mandee?
It's good. It's good.
What a nice introduction. Holy moly. Who the hell are you talking about?
I can do your PR, man. I can do your PR.
Oh, yes, you're hired.
I adore you. So that's why it works. Like, you are an incredible member of the community. Like, I just want, like, I know there was some ish like a year or two back, and you took a step back, and I'm so glad that I see your face again on social media and that you're around, and I love that you're stepping back in and helping people again. So I want you to be here, and I want, like, you're so much smarter about this kind of shit than I am, and like I said, I tried and I failed miserably last week.
Oh, no, you did not fail. No, I don't want to hear you calling yourself a failure, because your personal experiences are rich and valuable.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
It was a great show. I listened to it. I thought it was awesome.
I thought it was a fun show. Like, I love hanging out with people every Monday. I love doing that. I just don't feel like I gave like some really good wisdom. I just So that's why I was like, hey, Beck, come help me. I need someone to hold my hand.
Oh gosh, anytime, my love.
Awesome. So why don't you tell us a little bit about you and your background and what all the letters mean, because I'm not fluent in those letters.
It's really like not a lot. It's okay. The JD is for Juris Doctor, which was my law degree, my first degree. Well, of course, I got the bachelor's degree. You have to do that before you go to law school,
right?
But the JD was my law degree. And as I was in law school, I was kind of looking around and seeing like how competitive everybody was and really like combative. And, that's kind of how you have to be a good lawyer. You have to, one of the things that you swear to when you become a lawyer is to zealously represent your client, no matter who they are. So, that's why you can get up and defend people that you're sure are guilty, because it's part of the
It's
justice.
your job. Yeah.
It's your job. And if you don't represent them zealously, then due process just doesn't work. But, because I'm not the judge, I'm the lawyer. So, I went through my JD, and as I was studying, I got to take a couple of electives, and I really got into negotiations and arbitration. One of the cool things about arbitration is it's sort of like build your own court.
Mm-hmm.
So you make agreements on what the rules are for these negotiations or these settlements that you're going through. And the law doesn't determine those for you, the parties do. And one of the things that I really fell in love with was the fact that when the parties can agree on stuff ahead of time, when they are the ones that design the rules,
right,
you're so much more likely to get a positive outcome from the dispute that you're dealing with.
And that's a relationship, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's so applicable to relationships. So I fell in love with that, and I was like, I want to study this more. So I decided to go to school again, and I got my LLM, which is like lawyers do the doctorate first and then the master's instead of the other way around. So I got the master's on top of that, and I focused on alternative dispute resolution, which is where I learned a lot of my negotiations techniques and the brain science behind how people respond to certain language and things like that, and ways to sort of bring everybody to amicable solutions to their issues.
Okay.
It really suited my hippie heart, because I'm the one who, I was the hippie lawyer for a long time. I was the one that just like, let's all everybody agree and get along and all of this. Meanwhile, you've got these other lawyers that are going, kill, get everything you can, get it all. And I'm like, no, everyone can just be happy if we agree. So it worked out well. And when I got finished with law school, I had a series of life events that sort of showed me life is too short to strap yourself to a job that you don't want and that doesn't fulfill you.
Sure.
And I didn't want to plug away on documents and things like that. I really wanted to really get in with this peace building mindset. Some of the people I got to study under with my LLM was people from the Carter Center here in Atlanta. And they're negotiating, I'm talking like international violent conflicts.
Yeah.
They're slaughtering each other's children and stuff. Like,
yeah.
I know. And these are the folks that are getting in and negotiating peace among these folks. And just the power I learned of just a cool head and the right words and the correct approach and the psychology of it all. It just felt like something we needed, not just on the international scale, but we needed at home. We needed relationships, because we're all acting way too reactive. And boy, I'm reactive. Don't get me wrong. I'm super, super reactive. And that's one of the reasons that this felt so powerful to me, is that it's logical and you plot out exactly the way that you want to go, instead of going, well, you did this.
Right. You take a step back and plan.
Right.
And then everything seems a little more, it makes a little more sense than when you're in the moment and just throwing fists.
That's exactly right. You put the two people who are the people that have the issue on the same side of the table and put the issue on the other side.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. You're trying to solve the issue together.
I think that's such a key point in relationship conflict, is to remember that you are on the same side. Yes. Like, there's no your side, my side. It's our side against this problem. That's one of the things that I've learned from Michael. Like, he's He's so fucking smart.
He is so smart.
But he taught me that, like, you've got to be both. And you've said this to me too before. My long distance partner and I saw Beck for some relationship counseling for a little bit. And that's one of the things that we talked about then, was that, hey, you guys are on the same side against this problem. It's not my side, your side. And as soon as you change that mindset and look at it that way, it's y'all against the world. Like,
it makes a huge difference. Great. Yeah, it really does. And, I was able to bring that home in my life and sort of just kind of see how many ways that I have been going about conflict in the adversarial sense rather than in a team sense. And so I decided to go and study coaching because I wanted to bring that to people. I wanted to bring it to relationships. And that's what the BCC is. That's Board Certified Coach.
Okay.
So yeah, the JD is Juris Doctor. The LLM is a Legum Magister, which is the Masters of Law, where I studied all of the negotiations, and then I took it to coaching.
See, that's so cool, because your letters kind of make your story. Then it shows your journey. I think that's so neat. I want letters. I'm too impatient to get letters, though.
Hey, I think Mandee is good enough for me. You got all the letters you need, honey.
I feel like I do better just speaking from experience, and I have a lot of it. I have a lot of experience, and I sit back and I go, God, like, one of these stories is going to help somebody, not fuck up in the same way I fucked up. So
yeah, your stories have helped me, Mandee. I mean,
thank you.
When I listen to you, so you have a lot more experience with varied partners than I do.
Okay.
I have like fewer partners in my past than you have. So I could come to you for a lot of advice. Seriously.
I get around.
Oh, you are popular and a very loving lady. You've got more heart than a lot of people do. I'm more introverted than you by a long shot.
I'm actually kind of shy at times.
Really?
Believe it or not, I am actually kind of shy at times, and I get nervous. Like, this doesn't bother me because I can't see everybody listening. This doesn't bother me so much as like getting up. I mean, you've seen me get up in front of rooms of people and speak.
Right.
That wigs me out, man. I get super nervous. Have you ever seen me?
I'm better in a huge group than I am one-on-one.
Really?
Like, yeah, you can put me up in front of auditoriums full of people and I will be fine. Because it's a performance to me. But when I've done
you perform
my whole life.
Perform. That's like you sing and you perform. So
that's right.
It's a funny inside thing. If you ever see me in front of a room full of people, I will always have a t-shirt on or some kind of shirt that comes all the way up, because I get splotches when I'm nervous.
Yeah,
and I break out in hives.
Oh, honey.
So I have to hide them.
Oh, same. No, I get them too. Like, if I go to an audition that's like I really, really want it, oh man, I'll be all red. So it's our luscious fair skin.
That's right. I do wish I was darker sometimes so you couldn't see them as bad, but
same. Yeah. I'm with you. But hey, and we're both embracing the gray. I love that.
I love your hair. I love that you're letting
too. It's your whole speech at the beginning. I was just like praising back there. Like, so good. I love you. Look amazing, and you are amazing.
Oh, thank you. I do. Like, I'm. It was hard. Like, it was like 30 was really hard for me, and then 40 wasn't so hard because I turned 40 at the very beginning of the pandemic. So I didn't have to really be 40 around anybody, if that makes sense. Yeah. So like I just I was able to sit with 40 by myself with my family for a little bit. Yeah. And it was okay. I was like, it's okay. I'm gonna tell you, I'm not in the best health, and I'm gonna be working on that in the next year. But I'm getting there. I'm really happy with my body. I'm happy with I'm happy being fat. I am the fat and happy. And it's so funny because people are like, oh, you're not fat. I'm like, bitch, I just told you, it's my body. I just told you I was fat. Like, don't tell me I'm not fat.
That's right.
I see me in the bathtub. I am fat. I am okay with that, though. I am okay with that because I can be
Self-love is
beautiful.
where health starts.
I can be beautiful and fat at the same time.
You damn
Those
well
are
can,
not
and you are.
exclusive.
Yes,
So,
absolutely,
and I
100%.
think that's what people there's such a negative stigma around being fat that you are not beautiful if you're fat, which is such bullshit, man.
It is bullshit.
So,
Mm.
yeah, I can be beautiful and fat at the same time. In fact, here it is.
You working it right there. Perfect. I love that. And it's funny. I recently kind of went through sort of a health changing journey myself, and it's
You've gotten super healthy lately.
Thank you.
You were not in great health, right? And
No.
so you
Mm-mm.
started eating a lot better and doing a lot more exercising.
Yeah.
And you feel better now. That's awesome.
I do. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I got an autoimmune disease diagnosis, and then I was like, well, shoot, like if my body is this reactive, I need to figure out what it's going to be reacting to, and try to eliminate those things. And it's so funny because this is your point there, Mandee, is that it started with self-love, and it started with self-care, and being able to sit there and not the I'm going to sit up here in my Malibu apartment in Lululemons and tell you to self-care. It's like none of that.
Right.
It's honestly just being able to listen to what your body's telling you. If you're in discomfort, there's a reason. And you have to love you can't hate yourself into health. You can't punish yourself into health. You got to love yourself into it, and you're doing it, girl. You're on it.
Yeah, I'm definitely headed that way. I'm for sure headed that way.
So proud of you. That's great.
Did you hear me that it was masturbation month? All month of May is masturbation month.
Yay.
I'm fucking excited about it. I love masturbation. I think everybody should be doing it. I am one of those moms that encourage my kids to do it.
Good.
Because I tell you what, you can't get anybody pregnant jerking off.
Word.
You cannot get an STI piddling your bean. Like
Yes. And then you know what you like and what you don't like.
Thank you. If you know how to please yourself, you can tell other people how to please you. And that's been a huge like I get my oldest son, for his 13th birthday, I got him a subscription to Playboy. People were like, "Oh my God. Are you kidding me?" So this was before porn on the internet, right? My oldest son's 25.
Gotcha.
So this was before there was a little bit of porn on the internet, but not like how accessible it is now.
Yeah, it's like dial-up porn. Like how accessible
it was dial-up porn, right? So yeah, so I did because I wanted to encourage that. I wanted all my kids to be able to be in touch with their bodies and know what they love, because I didn't have that growing up. Mm-hmm. I talk about it all the time. My first orgasm, I was 22 years old. I don't want that for my kids. That's horrible.
No.
So I wanted to make sure and be super, positive about self-love. And then I read the other day that it's masturbation month. I had no idea that May was masturbation month. My youngest was like, "Sweet, my birthday's in May and it's masturbation month." So, yeah.
My husband's birthday and my anniversary.
Oh, sweet.
Perfect.
Yes.
That's great. Oh my God, I love it.
I'm so excited that it's masturbation month. Robin just messaged me this side and she wants to do a masturbation collab towards the end of the month.
Is that a proposition?
Right? No. We can't do that on the radio.
Isn't that called sex?
Yeah, but I want to talk about mutual masturbation and being able to be comfortable touching yourself, and like just all the different ways that you can masturbate. And just I can't wait. I love bringing that self-love out there.
Yes.
Because like you can't have great sex until you know what you like.
It's so true. It's so true. And the fact that you're out here giving people, I mean, not that anyone needs permission, but some of us feel like we need that encouragement sometimes. Mm-hmm. And the fact that you're encouraging people to get to know their bodies and to, it's an essential part of health. Sexual health is something that we are totally ignoring out there.
Yeah. And that's one of the things, if you all are around for the next hour, Sex with Robin's on at 1 Eastern time. And it talks about self-love all the time. So she's great. So we're gonna do a collab later this month, and do like a 2-hour. We love doing the 2-hour and like hanging out for 2 hours. So.
That's so cool. I love it.
Robin is the coolest. Right, Robin is so cool.
I
She's
don't
like
know
what I
Robin
want to
as
be
well
when
as
I
I'd
grow
like to. So if you're, hi Robin. I don't know her as well as I would like to.
Oh, Robin, she is. She's who I want to be when I grow up. She's incredible.
That's
So
wonderful.
she's a great mom, like just super informative. If I ever have a physical question, like a question about physicality or sex or something like that, I always hit Robin up. She's incredible.
Awesome. What a great resource.
While we're talking about sex, I need to plug One Condoms while we're doing it. One Condoms. If you go to myonecondoms.com, you can download a fit kit. Have you done this, Beck? Have you done this for one of your partners?
I've not, no.
Like, I bet you that your partner is not wearing the right size condom, because there are 60 different sizes of condoms that One Condoms has. Had no fucking idea that there were 60 different sizes of dicks out there.
Yeah.
No idea. If you go to myonecondoms.com, you can download a fit kit and measure your junk or his junk or their junk. And then go over to onecondoms.com and order your custom size condoms.
That's amazing.
And, yeah, if you use my promo code ManyLoves, you'll get 15% off your order. And your shit will fit right and your sex life will change.
Love it.
I've heard so many incredible stories of people buying the right size condoms and it being just a mind-blowing experience when you have sex with the right size condom. So, yeah, it's awesome. And then let me talk about adamandeve.com real quick. We're going to obviously talk about them much more later on in the month because of masturbation month. But if you go over to adamandeve.com, you want to stock up on some stuff before we talk about masturbation month, head over to the website. They have an incredible assortment of toys. They are like the Toys R Us for grown-ups.
No joke.
Yeah. Like their inventory is incredible. And they give me this cool offer where if you use the code MLLH, you can get 50% off almost any one item. Like, that's the expensive shit too. There's a couple things that you can't use the code on, but like 99% of the catalog you can use the code on. And you'll get free shipping, and they throw in some free shit. So stock up, get ready for masturbation month, and we'll show you how to use those toys later this month.
And I can tell you from experience that those shipping boxes are pretty discreet too. Like, it's not
they are.
Mm-hmm. You're not going to get a box in the mail that says, "Look, here's your giant dildo." Like, not that.
No, I wish. I want to take a Sharpie and say giant dildo and then throw it back out on my porch.
Amazing. But for those who are, living at home or with family members or whatever,
or apartments or something like that, where people are going to see your packages. Yeah.
There you go.
We got a comment from Robin. Hey, you sound awesome. Oh, this is for you, Beck. You sound awesome. Negotiation, your legal background is just so badass.
Aw, thank you.
That is perfect, Robin. She is badass. Beck is incredible.
Thank you very much, Robin. I appreciate that.
So did you listen to the show last week?
I did. Yeah, you did a great job. It was wonderful.
I appreciate that. We're going to talk about what I did wrong.
Okay.
And that was not give any real tips for people, because my story, like I said, is my story is one of acceptance and embracing, and not everybody gets that. Not everybody has the same partner. I mean, obviously not everybody has the same partner I did, but same type of partner I did at the time where I realized I could have feelings for more than one person, or the time I realized it was okay to have feelings for more than one person. Because like I said, I've had feelings for more than one person since like kindergarten. But my partner at the time really embraced the fact that I did fall in love with someone else. And he understood that meant that I didn't love him any less. And it was a lot easier for me to embrace my ethical non-monogamy and be able to to put my toes in that water, and I jumped head first in. And not a lot of people get that. Not a lot of people get that support, or have the understanding partners. So that's where my help stops, because I don't have that. I do have when because Jerry and I closed off for a little bit. We had some problems. We had some cheating issues, and on my part, because it was a manipulative situation. I didn't want Jerry to know that I was in a manipulative situation. I always want, I always want to be big, strong Mandee, right? That's my facade. That's
feel you on that. Yep.
So I don't want people to know that I'm in a, I've been in the brunt end of a manipulative situation. And so I hid it from him. And I essentially cheated on him. So what we did was we kind of closed everything off. He was in a situation, he was in a situation where he could do that. He didn't have any serious partners at the time. So we both just closed down and focused on ourselves. And we had a lot of shit going on around us too that we really needed to focus on. He calls it, what is it that he calls it? He circles the wagons. He says we circled the wagons. So we did that, and then we did open back up a year later. So, but again, I was with a very understanding partner who was already polyamorous.
Yes.
And so I don't have the experience of having to maybe negotiate my way out of a monogamous relationship.
Yeah, I understand that.
So that's why I said Beck is the person to do this. I said negotiation, and her name is top of my list.
Oh, you're so kind.
So I have to let everybody know too that back when I was hosting cons, when I was directing conferences, Beck presented for me all the time, a gazillion times. Probably you presented for me like 3 or 4 times, right?
Oh gosh, I don't do anything halfway. So when I showed up, I was like, I'll do this class and this class and this one and this one and this one. All the things.
She did, and her classes were always incredible and always received great reviews. So she's at the top of my list for this, y'all. So
thank you.
What would be your number one? Before I say this, I forget to say this sometimes on the show. Please, we welcome your questions, comments, and critique. If you have anything to ask Beck, she's here for it. We want to know what you're struggling with in your relationships and see if we can't help you out a little bit. So please send your questions and your comments. We would love to see them on the screen and see what we can do to help.
I think you're on a good track there, Mandee, is that it's very easy to talk about the kind of the esoteric nature of opening up and sort of the 10,000 foot view. And I think a lot of what people miss out on is where, like I was saying this morning on a Facebook post I made about like, hey, come listen to the show. It's like this, we need advice about where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah.
How do I sit down and look my partner in the eye and say these things? And that's the part that's really hard. And I think probably my best piece of advice is to get an outside perspective, if you can get one that doesn't have anything to gain or lose by telling you the truth. Yeah. Hi. And Robin too. Yeah. Robin too.
And Robin. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course. And there are myriad other wonderful qualified relationship coaches and therapists and all kinds of practitioners that you can speak to out there. And therapists are good. Coaches are not therapists. It's not the same thing. I want to make sure that I say that because a therapist can talk to you about, possible mental illnesses or, past traumas and how you're coping and stuff like that. And they can diagnose in ways that coaches don't. And coaches can get in and actually put your hand on the gear shift and shift it for you in a way that therapists really need to have a professional distance. So it's having a team is really great.
I do think that I'm sorry to interrupt, but I do think that if you are opening up your relationship, each of you need to be in therapy as well.
I agree. Yeah, 100%.
I'm a huge I love therapists. I love my therapy. I think everybody should be in therapy.
Yes,
But
agreed.
with that being said, especially if you were trying to change the dynamic of your relationship, then you 100%, you and your partner need to be in individual therapy as well as relationship
Yes.
counseling
Yes.
and seeing you or seeing a relationship coach as well.
I think it would be helpful. And, I really like to take on clients that also have a therapist, because I think there are a lot of times that I have clients that come to me who believe that I'm going to give them therapy. And I can't do that. I'm not there to do that.
Yeah.
What I can do for you is, again, I can jump in and get involved in a way that therapists cannot, as far as their oaths and things are concerned. They can't get in there and try to, help you take ownership of what's going on. They have to sort of let you come to these conclusions on your own. Meanwhile, I've often billed myself as BFF for hire. It's like, I'm the one that will be like, girl, what are you thinking? It's really, and I can straight up tell you what I believe about the issue.
Right. Whereas a therapist can't just snatch you up.
No, a therapist cannot snatch you the way that I can snatch you. And I will. I mean, Mandee, I'll get in there and be like, wait a minute. Whoa. Like, we need to back up on this for a second. So I think having a team is very important. And I think those people need to be folks that don't have anything to gain or lose by the outcome of what happens. A lot of times we rely on our partners to be our relationship coaches.
Or our metas.
Oh, God, it's the worst.
Don't do that.
Don't do it.
Don't put that on them.
No, it's not fair to them. And then on top of that, you're not going to get an unbiased opinion there because
it's not fair to your partner. Yeah.
No, it's not fair to your partner. And then, it's whether anybody has the best intentions or not, we are intrinsically wired to work towards our own best interests.
Yes.
So if you go to a meta about an issue with your partner, that meta is always going to be thinking of their own interests first, just because they're human.
Yeah, because it's natural. It's not evil in any way. It's not.
No.
It's just natural.
That's exactly right. It's just being a human being. Whereas
a survival instinct, even.
That's exactly right. And even friends too. Like friends can also be that. They can, they're thinking about, oh, well, if she breaks up with, George, who I don't like, then I don't have to deal with George anymore. Or and for me, I'm like, loyalty is my big thing. Like, I love, that's my number one thing in relationships, is to show my friends and my partners my loyalty.
Yeah.
So when they're like, this asshole like did this thing to me, and I'm like, well, let's go get him. So I'm not being professional in that situation. I'm not sitting back and saying, all right, let's think of all of the possibilities. I'm thinking, no, girl, I got you. As a friend, right?
Yeah.
But if you have me as a coach, it's a completely different. It's the Zen Beck.
Right.
So, I think having your team is very important. The next thing you want to do is make sure that you are approaching your conversations in a way that is, I don't want to get too heady, but there is science out there that shows certain approaches will work and will not work. Just based on EKGs of people's brains and how humans react to certain phraseology. And I think if you are able to sort of compile some of that really great nonviolent language, one of the things, Mandee, I think you and I probably did this exercise, is one of the things that I sort of teach my clients sort of as a general rule is this Yale language. And it comes from a study that, obviously from Yale University that was done under EKG about the brain's responsiveness to certain language. And they used a bunch of different phrases, and from that data compiled a way to confront someone about something in the way that's going to set off the least alarm bells in the human brain.
Is this the I language and the you language?
Yes. And I added a boundary setting sort of thing to the edge of it. But it's, when you blank, I feel blank.
Yes.
In the future, I need you to blank.
Oh, I love that.
If you cannot do this, I must blank.
Blank.
Okay.
I must.
I
I
must.
must. Remember, y'all, boundaries are for us.
Yes.
Rules are for other people.
Yes. Yes. That's exactly right. So, for example, when you are texting your other partner while we are on a date, it makes me feel like I'm not a priority to you. In the future, I need you to make me feel like I'm being prioritized. So if you would put your phone down, or if you would make sure you keep dates with me in the future, I need that. If you cannot do this, I'm going to have to evaluate whether this relationship is worth continuing because of the amount of stress that it's presenting me.
Right.
So,
Yes.
so bam, it's just, and it sounds so unnatural to begin with, but once you get into that flow, it ends up working out really nicely. When you're on your phone while we're on a date, I feel like I'm not being made a priority. In the future, I need to feel prioritized in order to feel fulfilled in this relationship. And if you're unable to do the things that I'm asking you for, I have to evaluate whether this relationship can continue.
Right. And I want to add, like, even to the point to be more detailed in your boundaries.
Yes.
You know, if you're not going to do this in the future, I'm not going to want to go on dates with you.
Yes.
If we're not going to get that time alone, then that's going to inhibit our relationship, and at that point I'm going to have to reevaluate.
That's right.
Because then it tells them why this is important. Right. Why this is such a boundary for me. A boundary, just put it out there. Like, boundaries are so important. And I know it's this cliche that you see on the interwebs and everywhere, that the only people that get pissed off about boundaries are the people should be, yes, are the people that they don't want to have that boundary. They don't want you to set that boundary because it's going to inhibit their negativeness in some way, right? So,
and I've had a lot of clients that have said to me, "Oh, I'm just not that confrontational. Like, it's hard for me to do." And there are a lot of, I understand that there are meek folk out there, and we've also, especially as women, or as, even as femme presenting people.
How dare you set a boundary?
That's exactly right. We have been conditioned to be as submissive as possible in order to be socially acceptable. So there are a lot of women and femme presenting people out there that feel like they have to fit themselves into this role of femininity that has been set out by this mono heteronormative patriarchal society. And that's just not how it is. And if you take the time and put forth the effort to draw your partner a roadmap to your happiness, you are serving your relationship. You are not causing drama. You're not being a problem. You're going, hey, I know you're here to make me happy and I'm here to make you happy. This is how you can do that for me. These are the things that I need. This is the golden key to my heart.
Right.
And it's very important to frame it in that way, that these confrontations or these conversations that we need to have are in service of your relationship, not in destruction.
We're having this conversation because I care about you and because I care about our relationship. Otherwise, we wouldn't have the conversation and you'd be gone.
That's exactly right. I will peace out so fast.
Thank you.
If I feel like my energy is wasted, I'm going to peace right the hell out.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
If I'm I only have so much, I only got so much energy, and I got a lot of stuff that I like to do and people that I love. So if you're going to just suck up everything that I have like a vampire and not show me that you're in this to kind of help out and meet me halfway, or however long you can meet me, then I'm going to peace right out. And so if I'm sitting there and having a conversation with you, like, hey, Mandee, when you make comments about my gray hair, it makes me feel like you're judging me based on my appearance and you're not loving me for who I am. So in the future, I would like you to refrain from making comments about my hair so that I can feel like you value me as a human being rather than, a hair model.
Yes.
And if you can't do this in the future, I'm going to have to consider whether or not I can ever appear on camera with you again, or, whatever.
Yes. And that's I love that you said it that way, but I want to make it real.
Sure.
And like a lot of those conversations are about sex, y'all.
Yes,
A
it's true.
lot of those conversations are about sex.
Mhm.
I have had multiple partners break up with me. I had a partner fairly recently in the last couple of years break up with me because I was not providing that
Mhm.
element to them to the level in which they wanted, but it
Gotcha.
was never communicated. It was never communicated
Okay.
until they were breaking up with me. It was never communicated. And
Okay.
I was like, whoa. And they're
Yeah,
like,
I'm
I'm so
sorry.
hurt. I'm like, you're hurt. I didn't know anything about this. So,
Oh, yeah, it's talk early, talk often.
right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like it's like it's something that we need to talk out. We need to
Yes.
talk about it. Let each other know what your boundaries and expectations are. We're not
Mhm.
fucking mind readers. So
No, that's so true. And that's a huge mistake that a lot of people in relationships make. And so many times I've heard on television and stuff like that, well, you
they
should know.
should know. They
Yeah,
should
they
know.
should know.
They should
No, they might
know.
not. They really
Everybody's brain works differently.
Mhm.
Everybody's emotional scale works differently.
Yeah. Well,
It's
and unless you believe the other person to be acting maliciously, if they did know, they wouldn't be doing it. So it's unless that
this
person's
person's supposed to
malicious.
care about you. Let them care about you.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got a couple comments, and then I want to ask you a really good question that's been brought up.
Please.
This is Robin. Such a great way to explain the distinction. I recognize your scope of practice. Many of my clients have a therapist, and I highly encourage it.
Yes. Good.
And then Robin also said, it sounds like a fellow Hufflepuff. Are you a
Oh,
Hufflepuff?
I am not actually.
Oh,
I'm married to one though. I'm surrounded by them. Like my best friend's a Hufflepuff. My husband is. But guess what, y'all?
you are not a Slytherin. Oh,
I am a Slytherin. I am. Yes.
oh,
Well,
wow.
because okay, so here's the deal: is that I've got my Hufflepuffs that are making cupcakes for everybody, and that they're keeping the morale of the troops up. And then you've got the Gryffindors that are charging right into battle, and you've got the Ravenclaws that are going, all right, well, let's analyze the trajectory over here and coming up with a great plan. And meanwhile, I'm sitting back and going, y'all, if we would just talk to each other, it would all be over. Can we just talk to each other, please? That's the Slytherin in me. And then I also, if anybody screws with my Hufflepuffs, I'm like, you will burn. Nobody screws with my Hufflepuffs.
Oh, that's so funny. You guys, you all kill me with your Harry Potter stuff. I just recently finished watching all the movies.
Oh, did you really?
I have never taken any kind of test or tried the hat on or anything like that. But I have, there's so many Harry Potter fans that are in my life, and I think it's so cute that I like to inquire as to who's what.
I have the perfect, like the quintessential Slitherpuff relationship in my world. My husband is a total Hufflepuff, 100%. He just wants to feed you. And then the Slytherin is like, thank you, sweetheart. Nobody understands me but you.
Robin says, there's the lawyer, LOL. Hufflepuffs and Slytherins go well.
They do. They do. We are a match made in heaven, let me tell you. He makes me more palatable to the rest of the world.
I have a couple of questions now. Like they started pouring in now. But the first one is something that was messaged to me earlier in the week. How do you start the conversation? How do you sit your partner down and say, I want to be ethically non-monogamous?
It's a great question. There, of course, the lawyer in me, the first thing I want to say is it depends because that's the lawyer answer.
It's for sure situation based. Yeah.
Yeah, it is very situational. But generally speaking, what I would probably do is start the conversation with an acknowledgement of how much you still love the partner you're with. Because that's the first issue that most people, especially those who are not used to the idea of non-monogamy, They are likely to immediately jump to, she doesn't love me anymore, or I'm not good enough for her, or I'm not offering her enough. She needs more than what I can give her.
I've
And
been bumped in some way.
that's exactly right. And, of course, there are so many folks out there that assume that if you're ethically non-monogamous, that your marriage is bad, or, your other relationships aren't fulfilling enough. And that is just not the case. It's like, I don't eat Golden Grams because my Cinnamon Toast Crunch isn't good enough.
Right.
It's, you know what I mean? It's like, they're both amazing. Can't eat either of them anymore, but they're both amazing cereals. So you want to sit down and say to your partner, the first thing I want to ask is if you feel loved by me, because I want to make sure that you feel as loved as you are. Because I do love you and I appreciate everything about you, and you're an incredible partner to me, etc. Again, this is very situational. I mean, unless your partner is like shitty, and you don't want to like sit down and love bomb your shitty partner. But if you're in a loving relationship that you really want to maintain, make sure that that person feels secure. And then you also want to make sure that that person knows that you have these conversations because you want happiness, because you want to foster your relationship and make it as healthy and authentic as possible. I would say that I'm having this conversation with you because you make me feel safe in my authenticity. And you make me feel loved for who I am and not just for what I can do. So
make sure your partner knows that you feel safe talking to them. That's such a big thing.
It's huge. It's absolutely huge. And, I would probably say something to the effect of, because you love me so beautifully, and because I feel so safe with you, I'm going to share a part of myself with you. And I would like you to know that this is who I am. And it's
nothing to do with you.
You didn't create this.
Yeah.
It is who I am. And I want to figure out how I can live in my authenticity, which is something you, as someone who loves me, wants.
Yeah.
Right. I need to figure out how I can live in my authenticity while still honoring you and loving you and doing right by what we have agreed and what we can continue to agree upon, and to let you know that you are a priority to me. And I'm not just going to run off and be like, I'm non-monogamous, bye. Just to make sure and also be prepared for the backlash. Be prepared for that person to feel hurt and to take it personally. Because it's not just the content of what you say. It's the shock of having the conversation in the first place.
Right. You're probably going to catch them completely off guard.
You probably are. Yes. And as a person,
something that, and I don't mean to, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting. I don't say it, I'm going to forget it.
No, I'll go. So please
bring it up. Bring it up. Like, hey, I met somebody the other day that's non-monogamous. Mm-hmm. And like, it really, like, I really find it interesting. And the more I talk to this person, the more, and, make sure the person's not a threat.
Right.
I think to the relationship. I think it's going to go further if it's not like oh, hey, I want to hook up with this person, or I want to have a relationship with this person. Have it be a friend. You know what I mean? Join ethically non-monogamous groups on Facebook and do some research and say, hey, I've been looking into this, and this looks like something I really want to pursue.
Yeah.
But you can also drop some hints. Put a movie on that's got ethically non-monogamous people. What's that movie from the 90s? Is it Reality Bites? That they
I don't know.
There's a movie from the 90s that I fucking love, and it's the two roommates and the girl, and they're all in love with each other. I think it's Reality Bites.
I haven't seen that. I don't know.
It's got Baldwin in it anyway.
Okay. All right.
So put like that movie on and like watch it together and go, oh, hey, that's interesting. Like drop those subtle hints. Kind of slowly feed it to them.
Yeah.
Slowly, because a lot of people, if they're like me, have never, if you've heard of it, if you've heard of ethical non-monogamy,
Mhm.
You probably think of sister wives. You think of swinger parties.
Yeah, or like the Marsden movie, which was like not
Right.
what you
The
want.
Wonder Woman movie. That's not.
No.
Yeah. So, like.
Or Will and Jada too. Like you got Will and Jada. It's like, he's up there slapping people and stuff. Like,
Right.
And everybody's got their opinions on that. And
And I think that Will and Jada are a great, if people weren't fucking with them,
that's right.
I think that they would be a great, because they were, I think, for a long time, a great relationship to see in the media, and to see
it's the swirling opinions all around it.
God, yeah, people keep fucking with them, man. Like, let them do them. And just because you don't agree with their situationships or whatever it is, it works for them.
That's exactly right. And if you want to talk about Will and Jada, get it from their mouths.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, get it from them, because I'm seeing all of these like terrible armchair quarterbacks saying awful things, and it's coloring people's view of non-monogamy in a way that's like, it's telephone, people playing telephone.
Yeah.
And the red table talks, I would definitely suggest.
Love the red table talks. As a whole, I love Jada's red table talks.
Oh yeah, I love hers. And then anything by Esther Perel. There are TED Talks that they're one of my favorite ones, and I cannot remember the lady who put it on, her name, but it's called Canceling Marriage. And it sort of talks about sort of the patriarchal ownership agrarian society sort of background that monogamy stemmed from and that marriage stemmed from. Yeah. And I feel like feminism is sort of a good gateway into non-monogamy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a matriarchal thing, for the most part. You end up, if you end up talking about the rights of women and the fact that they were owned for so long, and the fact that we've been property for a really long time, and that, marriages were all sort of part of taking on a piece of property.
A contract of sorts, yeah.
Yes, that's exactly right. But even contracts are healthier than that. I mean, agreements need to be met on even ground. If you have uneven bargaining power, then you're not going to have any kind of good agreement. Yeah,
so I highly encourage putting on one of those table talks on the television, putting that in front of your partner, some of the positive views, or not just some positive, the realistic views of ethical non-monogamy, not the bullshit commentary on Will and Jada, or the like you said, the Wonder Woman bullshit, like the real life stuff. And you can find sources for that in a lot of the poly and ethical non-monogamy groups. So if you put it out there, it creates that talking point, and you're not just popping it on. Like, you're not just like, hey, let's talk about opening our relationship up. And somebody's like, oh, it creates a talking point.
Yes.
You can go, hey, what do you think about that? And if your partner goes, fuck that, like, what kind of response you're going to get, y'all.
You can also present it as an offer rather than as a request.
Right.
If you were to find someone that fulfilled you in this way, I would support you in this. So I want to give you the permission to explore this part of yourself if it's something that you want to do.
And make sure your actions back that up, y'all.
Yes.
Don't just say that, and then when they do go and explore a new partner, you don't throw a fit.
Mm-hmm.
You have to back up your words.
Yeah, you got to be about it if you're going to talk about it.
That's super important. One of the books that I really love, and you all have heard me talk about this book time and time again on the radio and on the podcast, is Relationship Agreements by Ari Cardos. It is an incredible book. Incredible book. She is an incredible writer. She's also a relationship coach. This book was written by her and one of her partners. Incredible book, Relationship Agreements. It is for monogamous or non-monogamous people. It is written with non-monogamy as an option, but it doesn't have to be. It can absolutely help your monogamous relationships as well.
Mm-hmm. If we're getting into recommendations, I also want to, just from a science perspective, I want to recommend Sex at Dawn.
Michael loves that book.
It's a great book, and it sort of explains a lot about human sexual health and proclivity. And then anything by Esther Perel is going to be extremely helpful. There's a lot of things about cheating and fidelity, and her clients that have come in with fidelity issues, and why people sort of act in a non-monogamous way, but they don't do it ethically.
Right.
Yeah, she's wonderful too as well.
Awesome. So you all check out those books. We've got about 4 minutes left.
Can you shoot another question out, maybe?
I can't believe that this has gone this quickly. We have a comment from Grayson. I love Grayson. Grayson is one of my people. He says, I'm finding it really hard to talk about sex things because of shame. Mm-hmm. I'm working on it in therapy, but it's hard. Mm-hmm. So do you have any, I know this is a little off topic, but I think Grayson put this comment on when we were talking about therapists. Mm-hmm.
I would say if you have questions about shame, Brene Brown is your girl. You want to read, she's a shame researcher and how shame sort of takes over your body. It's not, sorry.
No, I was just going to say that I think that Grace and I have actually talked about Brene Brown before, and I 100% support that. Like, Brene is amazing. They're special on HBO right now. I think it's on HBO. The Atlas. Oh, wow.
So good.
So good.
There is a little bit of she has a bit of a religious bent sometimes when she talks. So if you're triggered by, religious talk, and I know a lot of us have had sexual shame instilled in us from some kind of abusive religious backgrounds. Mm-hmm. But, if you have church trauma and stuff like that, it might be a little bit triggering. But if you can sort of just give her a little grace for her own perspective, and come at it from yours, I think Brene Brown's books can be very, very helpful if you have shame talking about your body. For sure.
Jonathan asked, which books were those again? We'll put the books in the comments, Jonathan. That way you've got them written down for you and you have a place to go find them. But Relationship Agreements by Eri Kardos, Erikardos. Mm-hmm. And then the other one was Sex at Dawn. I don't know who's the author, Beck.
I cannot remember off the top of my head, but I'll pop it.
You just put it in Amazon. You'll find it. I promise.
Yeah, you'll find it.
And then there's a follow-up to Sex at Dawn that kind of debunks some of it, doesn't it?
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't remember what it is. Interesting. I can't remember the name of the book, but there's a follow-up book that somebody else wrote that doesn't necessarily debunk it, but kind of goes into the other side of things.
Yeah.
And Michael highly recommends that book too, just because he's all about having both sides of things.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's always like two sides to every issue, and then the truth is usually somewhere in the middle. Let's chop that hate, and there's no other side to that. No other side to hate. Sorry.
Yep. And then you said is it Estelle?
Esther. It's like Ester.
Esther.
Perel. Perel. Esther Perel. And any of her books will be helpful. Awesome. I mean, they're all amazing. Excellent.
And yeah, we'll go back and put it in the comments so you all know. You can see them. I know some people do better with seeing it as opposed to hearing it. So we'll make sure and go back and put it in the comments. Sure. Okay, so is there any one little last tip just one little pearl of wisdom to throw out there to the listeners to make sure that they do when they're trying to have these conversations and try and open up? Besides communicate, we always hear communicate.
I think my two best tools that I think people out there don't use it enough is deep breathing. I know it sounds trite, but it actually helps communicate to your nervous system that you are not under threat, and you will have a clearer mind in your communication if you're able to stop and breathe. And do it together with your partner if you start getting triggered. Also, the other thing that I always use with my clients, I'm sure, Mandee, you probably remember this too, is take timeouts. Don't hesitate to go, okay, I'm a little triggered, I'm a little upset, and set a timer. In 5 minutes, I'll be back. If you come back in 5 minutes at the end of that timer and you're not ready, reset the timer again and say, I'm going to set this timer again and come back in 5 minutes. But make sure you set a timer so you don't trigger people's abandonment issues.
Yes. Thank you so much, Beck. Thank you for being on. I'm totally going to have you on again because I loved this and I feel like it was such great information, and an hour isn't long enough.
I know, girl. But everybody needs to go listen to Robin now.
Yes, go listen to Robin. We'll see you next week. We're going to talk about when your kids don't like your partners. What do you do?
Oh boy. Thank you.
It's going to happen. Bye, my many loves. Bye, Beck.
Bye,